The Toronto Raptors absolutely annihilate the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, 122-94, without All-Star Scottie Barnes in the lineup. We're going to drop one for Milwaukee. They did a post-game interview as a whole, the Toronto Raptors. Did you hear it?
I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want.
Listen, this was an absolute beatdown. This was an absolute beatdown, and I'm here for it. I'm very happy to see it because it's a damn shame what they did to Adrian Griffin just to see this nonsense from the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, of course, they still have no Giannis, but I don't care. I don't care. They okay. Beatdown, ladies and gentlemen. Beatdown in this one. All right, now Scottie Barnes was out due to some personal reasons, and Jakob Poeltl got his 11th start of the season. It was Quickley, Walter, Barrett, Ingram, and Poeltl back in the starting lineup in this game. Okay, now coming into this game, you're hearing, okay, there's not going to be any Scottie Barnes, and I think I did mention in the comments to somebody in the last post game that I did against Chicago that, you know, we're going to really have to be in our paying attention in this one because it's going to be a bit of a stiffer matchup than we played in Chicago. I guess not. I guess not in this one. But coming out into this game, Ingram, from an offensive standpoint, he came out pulling up from mid-range like he usually does. The mid-range assassin, okay? 6 points with 7:50 remaining early in that first quarter. And the Raptors were 4 of 10 from the field. Okay, 4 of 10 from the field. Now, Ingram, coming into this game, he's made 145 shots from mid-range, which is second most in the NBA. We're going to drop one more for him. And, you know, we'll look at some numbers throughout this game, starting with Brandon Ingram. And in 31 minutes, he had 22 points. He was 8 of 17 from the field, 2 for 6 from three-point range, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, only 2 turnovers in this game. And he also gave you 2 blocks, and he was a plus 10 on the plus minus chart in this one. Okay. And the Raptors defensive rank from a couple years back, they've been steadily improving. And the defense throughout this game is what I need to talk to you about. That was a big thing in this game. So when Darko first started, right? In that first year with Darko, they were 26th in defensive rank. Last year, 15th, and now they've pushed up to 5th in defensive rank. And the Raptors, they looked like half decent from the defensive end in that first quarter. But after the first quarter, this game drastically changed in favor of the Raptors. I don't know what the hell Darko said to him after the first quarter, but let's just wait just a minute before we get there, right? The Milwaukee Bucks now come out with the zone. And we've talked about this a lot this season. Teams coming out and playing a zone against the Raptors because the Raptors do struggle against the zone. And they struggled early in this one against the zone, but they ended up doing a bit better with some changes that Darko made. Okay. They looked completely confused offensively early on in this game. And they weren't able to knock down anything from three-point range. They looked abysmal early on from three-point range. 0 of 8 from three-point territory with 3:30 remaining in that first quarter. But then one Jamal Shead and Sandro Mamukelashvili come off the bench, and they make a huge impact. And Jamal Shead early on has 3 assists. Mamo ends up having 7 points in that first quarter. And he ends up knocking down the first 3-point shot for the Raptors at the buzzer in that quarter. Now, they started off 0 for 10 from three-point range. And then he knocks down the one and ends up going 1 for 11 from three-point range at the end of that first quarter. And the Bucks had a 5-point advantage after the first. It was 27-22. The Raptors were shooting 32% from the field, 9 of 28. The Bucks were shooting 11 of 21 from the field for 52% in that first quarter. So I just mentioned to you, the Raptors go into the second quarter with a 5-point deficit in this game. The only person that looked okay offensively was Brandon Ingram. And that's when he was pretty much just taking the ball and go on one-on-one his damn self. Okay. So Mamu comes off the bench, gives you some offensive firepower instantly. And Jamal Shead was kind of controlling that offense a little bit from the inside of that zone. You see, Darko starts putting Quickley and Jamal Shead. They pass off the ball. They don't screen away. They run straight to the middle, and they're found in the middle. And then he's using the point guards to create offense from the middle, whether it be attacking, straight line drive, kicking it out after attacking the basket for open looks. It was a good move by Darko because it worked. But I mentioned to you, this is where the game changes for the Raptors. This is where it changes for the Raptors. Listen to this. Listen to this. So first of all, Cam Thomas, okay? Cam Thomas comes into the game off the bench and immediately just starts putting in work. Okay, now in 7 minutes, he already has 10 points. 10 points in 7 minutes. And this is within like 1 or 2 minutes into that second quarter. But one guy who we got to drop one for, who had over 30 in this one, was one, did you guess it if you didn't watch it? Did you guess it? Immanuel Quickley. Okay, Immanuel Quickley. We're going to drop one for Immanuel Quickley in this one. He played really well in this game, and he was aggressive offensively. 31 minutes in this game. He had 32 points. He was 11 of 19 from the field, 5 of 11 from three-point range, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. He gave you 9 assists. He gave you 9 assists in this game, 3 rebounds, only 1 turnover, and a steal as well in this game. He looked polished. He had a pep in his step in this game. And the best thing about Immanuel Quickley, to me, wasn't just that he played well offensively. He played really good on the defensive end. He was aggressive on defense, staying in front of his man, getting into the passing lanes consistently. Getting into the passing lanes consistently. That is what the best part of Immanuel Quickley was. Aside from his shooting, of course, but his ability to get into those passing lanes and force turnovers, that is what I really like to see from one Immanuel Quickley. I put in my notes here, aggressive on both ends, 14 points in 12 minutes, but defense looking good in passing lanes consistently. Jamison Battle now comes in, and he might be a guy that I think I want to do a player profile on, because I have questions as to why he is not playing more. But we'll get into that in the near future. He comes in, knocks down a 3. Jakob Poeltl also comes in and knocks down a 3. You know what? Jakob Poeltl in this game, I'm going to drop one for him. Okay? Because modest 9 points in 30 minutes, 3 of 10 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point range, but gave you 6 rebounds, 3 assists as well. No turnovers in the game. I just like how he played overall. Gives you another shooting option, good defensively as well. Jakob Poeltl's game has improved. His game has flat out improved, and I enjoy watching his game. His three-point shot looks smooth. Like I mentioned, 3 of 8 from three-point range, and I just enjoy seeing the progress of his game. It's paying off, whatever they're doing with him and whatever coaches are working with him. Jakob Poeltl is balling, and it's definitely paying off here. Okay. Too many times now, this is early in the second quarter, and this did end up changing throughout the game. And I'll talk about it a little bit later, or I'll at least touch on it just for a second. But there were too many times early in this game where the Raptors were failing to make that extra pass on offense for the quality shot. Like when you get a decent shot, but you can make the extra pass for a better shot, that's the shot that you want. That's the shot that you want. And they were failing to make that extra pass on too many occasions early in this game. But as the game went on, and actually like from midway through, I'm talking early in the second quarter, I'm talking like midway through. So at some point after a timeout, I don't know if just the players or if it was Darko who mentioned, listen, you got to make that extra pass. You got to share that ball. You got to find the highest percentage 3, mid-range, whatever the case may be, You have to find the highest percentage shot, basketball IQ. You want to make the game easier for everyone. You want to build a big lead. You do that with getting good shots up so that hopefully you're going to be able to be efficient. That's what you want. And so Mamu comes off the bench. I told you he had 7 points early in that second quarter. He drills another 3 now. And in 10 points in 10 points within 8 minutes. And that is with 3:41 remaining in that second quarter. Now, the Bucks go back in zone, okay? And if you didn't already know this, the Bucks play more zone than any team in the league. And listen to this crazy stat as well. So, the Raptors have the best win percentage against the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee since Giannis Antetokounmpo was drafted, and that's with all teams. That's a pretty wild stat right there. But Darko was putting Shead, like I mentioned, and Quickley in the middle of the zones to create offense, and it was working. It worked. It was a good call by Coach Darko. I'm going to drop one for Darko for doing some pretty damn good things offensively and defensively as well. And boy, let me tell you something right now. The Raptors, maybe I'll save this for the second half. But man, Quickley just cooking. Okay, he went off in the second quarter. 18 points, 20 points at the half. He was 3 of 6 from 3-point range in that first half. And the Raptors, after being down by 5 after the first quarter, are now up by 9 after the second, 60-51 going into the half for the Toronto Raptors. And they had 16 assists on 21 made field goals and only 3 turnovers at the half. Now, we don't want to waste any time here because it gets better. Seriously. The Raptors came out like bats out of hell. Okay, well, I'm talking just dogs on defense. Okay, and I know who I'm going to drop a bomb for because I didn't really talk about him much, but a guy that I'm going to drop a bomb for, and I don't know what the hell happened during the half. I don't know if he went back there and drank some milk and said prayers and took vitamins like Owen Hart used to say, but Jakob Poeltl, damn it. Okay, we got to talk about Jakob Poeltl for just a second because I don't know what it was, but he was looking a little stiff in the first half, and I don't know. He just came out in the second half, and Jakob Poeltl looked a whole lot better, and I'll get to him in just a second. But he did a good job screening and making space for Immanuel Quickley to get into that paint and be able to finish in the paint. Now, the Bucks subsequently go on a 7-0 run. Okay, it's 62-59 now. It's a 3-point game with 9:34 remaining in that third quarter. So pretty early on into that third quarter, the Raptors hold just a 3-point lead. Okay, and Quickley gets into the lane for a left-handed floater. Then he comes back, he drills a 3, and now with 7:15 remaining in the third quarter, Immanuel Quickley already has 27 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds. I mean, he absolutely just went crazy on these guys in this game, which is good because a key for me was Immanuel Quickley early in this game, especially when you know that Scottie Barnes is not playing. You need offensive output from somebody. And was it going to be Barrett, who had a terrible shooting game? He did not look good in this game at all in this one. 27 minutes, 7 points, 2 of 10 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3-point range, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, but he did give you 6 rebounds, 3 assists, only 1 turnover, but 2 steals as well. So I'll give him a bit of credit because he did some other things instead of just having a bad shooting night, which is good. If you're having a tough shooting night, at least be able to do something somewhere else on the floor, right? You don't want to be 2 of 10 and then have donuts across the board, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, no steals, you don't want that. You want to be able to be productive somewhere out there, right? And so at least we could give Barrett some credit for that as well. Now, with 6:51 remaining, the Raptors go on a run. I told you about Quickley doing damage in the paint, right? Left-handed floaters, three-pointers. They went on a 10-0 run, okay? 62-51. And now it's a 72-59 ball game for the Raptors. And like I mentioned, for some reason, Jakob Poeltl just looked a hell of a lot better. Just way better. He looked way better defensively. He looked way better with his mobility. He just seemed loose out there. Like he went back in halftime and did some yoga or something. I don't know what the hell was going on, but he just came out a completely new guy in the second half and looked like he did at the beginning of, I wouldn't say at the beginning of the season, but more like the beginning of the season. But he just looked a lot more fresh and a lot more bouncy, flexible. He was running the floor hard. He definitely looked better in the second half of this game. You wouldn't be able to tell from the box score, like I mentioned, because like I mentioned, a modest 6 points in 26 minutes, 3 of 4 from the field, but he gave it 8 rebounds and 2 assists. It's not just about him putting the ball in the basket. It's about how he looks and what he does and how he affects the game when he's out there. And he made a difference out there tonight. Okay. Poeltl gets 2 offensive rebounds in a very short period of time, and it leads to a Brandon Ingram 3. He was a plus 10 on the plus minus chart in 21 minutes, and that was with 4:24 remaining in that third quarter. It was a 78-64 ball game for the Raptors, and the Raptors put on an absolute masterclass defensively towards the end of that quarter. Okay, just the defensive possessions, the rotations were there. The communication was there. The closeout on threes were there. And they were just disrupting everything the Bucks were doing offensively. And with 146 remaining in that third quarter, the Raptors were up 20. It was an 89-69 ball game. And Colin Murray-Boyles, I'm going to drop one for him in this game as well, because in 20 minutes, he had 8 points and 4 rebounds. He had 1 turnover, 2 steals in this game, 3 offensive rebounds. But really, forget about the offense for a second. This is from a strictly defensive standpoint. Colin Murray-Boyles is an absolute stud. And the way that he slides his feet, moves laterally, at the same time as being physical, that is what is rare to see. And he was annoying guys out there. He was annoying everybody on the Milwaukee Bucks with the way that he plays defensively, being physical, moving laterally, and his basketball IQ to not always jump on those pump fakes. And it was really, really annoying a bunch of guys, including one Bobby Portis, because Bobby Portis ended up taking exception to all of this because he ended up hitting Colin Murray-Boyles with a flagrant foul. Whacked him right across the neck, and he wound it up, hit him, dragged him down to the floor, and immediately Colin Murray-Boyles is like, you got to look at that. So Darko's like, man, what the hell was that? And so the referees go, they review it, they call Bobby Portis for a flagrant 1. They actually upgraded to a flagrant 1. It was called originally as just a shooting foul. And after that, they close out the quarter 92-73. It's a 19-point deficit now for the Milwaukee Bucks after 3. You go into the fourth, and it just got even worse from there for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Raptors, like I mentioned, extremely aggressive on defense. And now I realize that against the Chicago Bulls as well. Remember in the last post game, if you saw it, we did talk about this as well. They were extremely aggressive all over the place like bats out of hell. And I actually think that the reason we're seeing them, in part at least, the way they're playing defensively now, I think they had to wake up because of who they ran into in the Detroit Pistons right before the All-Star break. I think that was a bit of a wake-up call. And I think they went into practice, they discussed that game between themselves as players and between the coaching staff, and they just realized after they played Detroit, and I don't know this to be fact, but this is what I would be thinking. as a guy who's coached, played at obviously lower levels, I would be talking to them about that game, watching a lot of film, seeing the defensive intensity that Detroit came out with. If you want to be in the upper echelon in the Eastern Conference, you got to turn it up defensively. You have to turn it up defensively. And yes, we know it's Chicago. It's Milwaukee. I get it. But you still got to turn it up. It doesn't matter who you play against. You still got to turn it up if you're one of the softer teams or one of the better teams. And that's what we need to see. We need to see this against upper echelon teams. And so we have a few games now coming up where we're looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're looking at the San Antonio Spurs coming up Tuesday and Wednesday. And we want to see this aggressiveness defensively against teams like that as well. And so midway now through this fourth quarter, there was a great possession where Kevin Porter Jr. was going to the rim and he thought he had a layup or a dunk, and Jakob Poeltl comes over from help side defense, goes up at him, completely throws his shot off, tears it, to go back into transition on the other end and sets up Mamu for a three in this game. And I'm going to drop one for Mamu too, because I think he did a pretty decent job on the defensive end as well, aside from offensively. 23 minutes, 15 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 3 of 8 from three-point range, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, no turnovers in this game for Mamukelashvili. I mean, this is just fantastic stuff. And I'm going to look at some team numbers as well before we get out of here in this game. But, you know, it's one thing to do this when Scottie Barnes is in the lineup, but it's good to see them actually play a game like this and not have Scottie in the lineup. Okay, so Raptors shoot 47% overall from the field, 41% from the Milwaukee Bucks. This damn thing is in my way. Let me move this closer just a second. But the Raptors also, give me this damn tablet. Rebounding, not too bad. I mean, one rebound deficit, 45-46. Also, from the free throw line, 18 of 23, which is not bad because they're actually getting to the line here, which is good. Now assists, 34 assists on 44 made field goals in this game. Raptors only had 8 turnovers in this game. See what happens when you lean on the keyboard. But they forced 19 turnovers. They forced 19 turnovers from the Milwaukee Bucks in this game. 15-8 fast break point advantage. And the Raptors actually had a pretty big deficit at one point early on in this game in regards to points in the paint. They have a 4-point surplus in this one, 46-42. And the Raptors just overall put on a nice show against the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. We got to show them a lot of love for getting this big win. And to me, everyone is a big win at this point. You come in after the All-Star weekend, right, with 27 games remaining. You're now 2-0. 2-0. I'm looking for the Raptors to at least go 15-12 after 27 games. Now, maybe they greatly exceed that. I don't know. But I'm looking for them to go at least 15-12. And so this is a team that you have to beat. This is one of the teams that you got to beat. You got to get them. Okay? These are the games that you got to get. At MikeRoach7 on IG, at MikeRoach23 on X. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and share the show. For those of you who listen to me, I gave a lot of shout out a couple episodes ago. It's in my lives, actually. If you did not see it and you contribute a lot to the comments, you should probably go maybe somewhere towards the end of that video. I give a lot of shout outs to the people who are consistently in the comments. And once again, you know, I always appreciate you guys. This would not be anything if it wasn't for you guys watching the show, sharing it with others. Thank you very, very much. This is the Mike Roach Show. Some pretty big games coming up. I will see you again soon, and I'm out.